Yeah, and like, I mean, I feel like we also have to talk about like Pharrell. I mean, he just got appointed as the new like creative director.
Director
What is
for
it?
Louis
Louis
Yeah.
Vuitton.
Vuitton,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Right.
snaps of Pharrell for that. I'm really excited to see the newest collection. Like, go ahead.
Yeah, and he always is just so cool. I feel like he always does take fashion risks, but he still like stays in his lane. He's very true to himself, but he always looks so he looks so hot, so cool. Like he always brings
Hmm.
like this new like freshness to a look. He's got swag for days, so
I was so happy to hear about that. I think him and Louis Vuitton is like a marriage made in heaven. I'm so excited.
Mhm.
Is there, speaking of Louis Vuitton, if you guys could only wear one brand each for the rest of your lives, what would it
Ooh.
be? We're like
Ooh.
we're doing the heavy hitting questions here today, people.
Hmm. Um,
Seriously.
if there was one brand that I could wear for the rest of my life, it would probably be Christopher John Rogers.
Good
That would be
answer.
my brand of choice because the clothing is all joyful and happy and carefree and fun. And I just feel like that's what I always like to bring when I go out dressing. So,
I would probably have to say Moschino just because the playfulness, the campiness, every collection is just like cartoon inspired. And, Jeremy Scott always brings something a little different to each collection. And I think about like the handbags that I've splurged on and they're all Moschino. So, okay, I'll go with Moschino.
Those are good answers. What
Yeah.
about like what men and women do you think are the opposite that maybe like need the two of yours help like that just they have a lot of misses on the red carpet or misses when they're out for a night and you see pictures and you're like, "Girl, what are you thinking?" Or boys.
okay. Bless her. I would probably want to get my hands on Kourtney Kardashian. Um,
Ooh,
she's
good
she's very
answer.
all she's like all over the place, and it doesn't ever feel like it's really like landing in a direction that feels like authentic. But then again, like I don't really know her personally, just based off of her
Yeah.
persona. But I just feel like she could, yeah, I would help Kourtney. And it's not that it's bad, it's just misguided.
Yeah.
Um and then if there was a man that I could help with, I would probably have to say, hmm, yeah, I really don't pay attention to them that much.
Okay,
Like,
yeah, if I was gonna say a female, it would probably be Chloe. I mean, sorry, no, wait. Yeah, no, Chloe. Chloe Bailey, right? That's her last name.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because
Hmm.
I always just think Chloe and Halle. But like sometimes she kills it and she looks so sexy, and she's having this renaissance of her own where she's rebranding as this hypersexual person. And like sometimes when she tries to act like, or when she's portraying like I'm mature and I'm grown up, she ends up looking so old lady. So I'm like, it's so weird. Like she's either like sex kitten or like old lady looking too grown, like not too grown, but it's just not the right styling for her. So there's a way to like make her look cool and like sophisticated without being like I'm either covered up or I'm like an old maiden, like we need to
Hmm.
get that middle ground in there for her. Like, yeah. And then in terms of men, um yeah, I don't really pay that much attention. I do like I when I see them on the red carpet, sure, but oh, you know what? I'll say Machine Gun Kelly because I feel like he always is taking like crazy fashion risks, and he would just like I personally love those risks that he takes. He would be really fun to style as a client because I feel like I could bring in like a lot of like androgynous things and he'd be game. Like we could gay him
Yeah.
up a little bit and he would be totally cool with that. So he'd be a fun
Yes.
one to style.
Hmm.
He would be fun. What about do you guys have, I mean, speaking of Courtney, do you have a favorite dress Kardashian?
Ooh. Ooh. Oh.
That ooh.
I honestly would have to say Kim. Like I just think she look most of the time she looks really great. I do feel like it's she's on a journey, right? Like ever since
Mhm.
like leaving Kanye,
Kanye.
she's like trying to find her own voice. And I definitely think she had some misses, but I'm enjoying watching and witnessing this process. Cause like,
Same.
you know, we've watched her she never didn't have money, but you know, we watched her from like being kind of this like basic bitch to like her glow up before our eyes. And she's just so sexy and like seeing her style evolve. And now she's a mom. I don't know, like she's just really come a long way and she always gives us something a little different. So I enjoy watching her. I enjoy watching her fashion risks.
Hmm.
And yeah.
Yeah, I think honestly, of all of them, Kim is the best dressed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think, obviously she's the one that we focus on the most. And similar to what Tiger said, it's because I had to sit back and think about, because I was just like, okay, like let's really, are we like talking in terms of like personal style, or who has
Right.
had access to the best stylists? And Kim had access to Kanye, who, really honestly completely changed her image and turned her
Yeah.
into, a major fashion contender and someone who is setting trends. So her developing her own personal style apart from Kanye has been like a really interesting journey to watch. I still heavily see like his influences of like minimalism there, like on her. So
Mm-hmm.
I would love, for maybe Kim to start experimenting with things that are a little bit more maximalist, a little bit more exuberant, a
Yeah.
little bit more
Yeah.
playful. Like I would just like be really interested and curious to see like what that type of fashion journey on her would look like.
Yeah,
Totally.
like step into Chloe's closet. Like let Chloe style you for a day and just see what happens. See what you
Yeah.
like.
I am all for that. Yeah, and like not taking anything away from her, but really it was Kanye. I mean, Kanye
Yeah.
really, her
Hmm.
style, like I think she's on more of an evolution now, but he really stepped it up for her. And I
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
think that's where she learned a lot of what she's now doing in her
Uh-huh,
career,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
which doesn't take anything away from her. You know, look,
Yeah.
the It's Giving Fashion podcast. I mean, you're criticizing fashion, you're talking about fashion. You know, I think back to me, the most famous people to do that are really like Joan and Melissa on the carpet, fashion police.
Hmm.
Like, were
Mm-hmm.
you guys like, did you do any research for these new positions of yours? Were you fans of like fashion police or like E on the carpets? And like, did you dive deep into the archives to prepare? Or did you just say, turn on the mic and we're best friends, let's go?
Definitely the latter.